What is going on, everyone? Week 2 is in the books, and we're moving on to week 3 here. Welcome to the week 2 contest review show. JM, we've got Jason, Sergeant Stogie, Ill Pick, DJ Local, Josh Allen, Brent, and Hugo in the chat. JM to everyone. Hope you're doing well. Happy week 2 of the NFL football season. And welcome back to the second edition of the contest review show. Cheers, cheers, cheers. We're going to be doing this on Tuesday mornings all season long. Do a little bit of a look back on the week that was, walk through the TOC contest, the Rumble contests, any kind of key takeaways that we're seeing, talk through any updates on the products, check out the marketplace, all the things, answer questions from chat. No strict agenda on this show. We just kind of walk through all the things. If you want a more football-oriented strategic breakdown, definitely recommend you check out Justin's DraftKings football show. He's doing a twice weekly show, so every either late Sunday night or early Monday morning, he's posting a 15-20-minute podcast on his immediate thoughts on the slate for that week. So he'll break down his cash game lineup. This week, he talked through some contest selection stuff that was really critical for anybody that's playing in cash games, 50-50s, double ups, etc. over on DK. Make sure you check out Justin's show. And even if you're not playing DraftKings, honestly, always good to hear his thoughts. He also talked through some of the injury stuff that's going on and kind of any fantasy implications that we have there. So you can search for DraftKings Justin Herzig in any of the podcast stores and you'll see that come up. Make sure you check that out. And on this show, like I said, we're going to walk through what we're seeing from a contest standpoint. And before we get into that for this week, I've got two things to share. Hold on one second. Getting a little distraction in the background. Anyways, trying to get the scores finalized as we speak. So trying to multitask there. Anyways, update number 1. Free Rumble is returning. So starting this week, week 3, completely free to enter Rumble contest. Put those NFL all day moments to work. Compete again, completely free every week for your chance to win Dapper Balance. And then we also just announced for the Owners Club the return of the TOC OG card exchange. So we ran this 2 weeks ago, was well received by the community. I think there were some people that maybe didn't get a chance to take advantage of it the first time around. So we're bringing it back. Whether you took advantage of it the first time or not, anybody out there can take 5 TOC OG cards and exchange them for a buy one, get one free special on a new base pack. So when you purchase your next base pack, you will then automatically get a second one for free for those of you looking to continue to build out those TOC collections. Get some cards going so that you can compete in the contest every week. And speaking of the contest, let's without further ado, let's dive on in and see what we've got going on here. Week 3 contests are live in the lobby, both for TOC and for Rumble. So as I said, with Rumble, you can check out at the top of the lobby here. Totally free. You can see the payouts, paying out the top 100. The Rumble payouts will be purely in Dapper Balance. $250 to the winner. Top 4 all taking home $100 plus. Single entry, use your NFL all day moments to create your Rumble roster and then compete in the weekly contest. Again, totally free for your chance to win the prizes. So make sure you go on and get on in there. And yeah, I mean, well, I'm going to talk more about Rumble later this week because I want to focus on the contest review today. But definitely a thing where we appreciate the support of people entering the contest, and it's beneficial for us to have as many of you as possible enter the contest. So the number of entries is something that is being looked at for sure. So the more people that we get entering these contests, the more likely we are to continue the ability to offer free contests like this in the future. So make sure you get on over into the Rumble lobby every single week and enter your lineup. It's good for everybody. And we've got, like I said, TOC Week 3 contest already in the lobby. All right. And look at this nice little new feature that Neil added here. So you can now, right from the lobby, click View Live Contests. And this is showing the 5 Week 2 contests that are currently still live. Again, we are finalizing scores and payouts as we speak. Those should be coming out shortly. But let's take a look at it. We're going to start with the main event. And look at that gold club Jolly Joker holder. Spartacus takes it down. Pretty much a wire-to-wire performance here from Spartacus. What you'll see with the top of the leaderboard this week in both TOC and in Rumble is that the wrinkle came into absolute full effect here. So when we look at Spartacus lineups and we look at a lot of the lineups towards the top of the leaderboard, they all played 4 cards from that Thursday night game, which was Minnesota versus Philadelphia. Kind of one that we expected a lot of scoring from and a lot of fantasy scoring from going into the game. And it certainly did not disappoint. As you can see in this lineup here, 4 out of 5 cards coming from that game. Minnesota quarterback, Philadelphia running back, Minnesota wide receiver, Minnesota tight end, and then throwing in the Tampa Bay defense there, which I believe was the second highest defense scoring total. Let's pull up the live stats page here. Live stats page. If you are not looking at the live stats page, definitely recommend bringing that into your routine because a lot of super useful information here. It's useful during and after the Thursday night game because you can kind of get a feel for how all of those cards performed. And then as soon as all the games start at 1 o'clock on Sunday, in real time, you can see who is the highest scoring across every card, across each position, and really just kind of creates a good sense for what's going on in the slate. You can also see which ones you own, so you can get a feel for whether or not the cards that you specifically own in your collection are performing well on a given week. So yeah, highly recommend the live stats page. It's something that I'm looking at often throughout the week or throughout the weekend and specifically on Sunday. And the other thing that I will note is that while, yes, the wrinkle had a big effect on the final scores, I mean, we're seeing some somewhat unexpected cards up at the top, I would say here. Denver wide receiver, Houston wide receiver. If we took a look at ownership, I'm sure we would see that Houston wide receiver was played much more frequently in the low ball than it was in the main event or any of the high score contests. But look at that coming in as the second highest overall scoring card on the slate. Kind of shows you never know what you're going to get on any given week, especially when you factor in the TOC scoring. Another thing that you'll notice when it comes to TOC is when we look at the running back position here, Buffalo coming in as the highest scoring running back, but Cleveland running back, despite Nick Chubb getting injured, and man, thoughts and prayers definitely out to Nick Chubb. Did not look good. Did not look good. Hopefully he's okay. But yeah, from a TOC scoring standpoint, right? You're playing regular fantasy, you're playing DraftKings, FanDuel, Underdog, whatever. You draft Nick Chubb or pick Nick Chubb to be on your team. He gets injured, you're in trouble. Not in TOC, though. Not in TOC. That Cleveland running back card. Jerome Ford really came in and had a massive second half of that game there. And the Cleveland running back ends up coming in still as the second highest scoring card. And again, despite the injury, is going to continue to have value. Maybe it gets docked a little bit in value without Nick Chubb, but still, it's all kind of about the offense, right? And especially at the running back position, a lot of these teams and a lot of these offenses can just kind of slot in the next man up and still get productive action coming from the ground game. So, yeah, example there. And, so Washington running back, solid backfield there. Miami, you can see at the top here, right? We've talked about Atlanta, Justin's number one ranked card. New York Giants running back, despite Saquon getting hurt. But we see at the top here, a lot of these teams at the running back position that are coming in with the highest scores are the teams that do have multiple players in the backfield there. So again, while in traditional fantasy, when running backs are sharing a backfield with others, that's always a negative, right? You want the guy that is getting all of the carries as a single rusher. But in TOC, you want those multi-headed backfields. And I think the San Francisco running back score kind of shows that, right? Christian McCaffrey, the de facto automatic number one running back in fantasy when it comes to individual players. But look how far down San Francisco running back is on this list here. You don't get PPR points, which, of course, a lot of the value in Christian McCaffrey comes in how many receptions he gets. But B, you're not getting that added benefit of a second or even third running back being placed into the mix here. So, I think this week, in a lot of different ways, highlights the beauty of TOC and highlights why TOC is a fun mix to have in your weekly fantasy football experience. Quarterback position, we talked about the wrinkle. Minnesota quarterback does indeed finish as the highest scoring quarterback of the week. And again, look at this. Okay, we've got Buffalo quarterback and Philly quarterback, which, two of the top three. Indy quarterback Anthony Richardson has been able to do some damage, especially on the ground. But a lot of quarterbacks making their way towards the top of the scoring charts here that we probably would not have necessarily expected. A lot of these mid-range guys, right? Daniel Jones. My goodness, the Giants looked like they were absolutely about to lay another egg for 2 weeks in a row. But they did come back. Daniel Jones ends up having a massive game from a fantasy standpoint. But, how about Arizona hanging in the mix there? And even Arizona quarterback putting up lots of points. The kind of de facto card that you think that you want in the low ball actually coming out and putting up some points this week. Wide receiver position, again, Minnesota wide receiver from the wrinkle coming in the top 4 there, which was enough to hold in most contests. Cincinnati wide receiver, Detroit wide receiver, so these I'd say are 3 of the top ranked cards here. Denver, you've got Jerry Jeudy, you've got Cortland Sutton, you've got Mims, so you've got a nice setup there in Denver. Houston wide receiver kind of coming out of nowhere. LAC, big game. Tampa, Green Bay. So, you can see a good variety of cards here towards the top of the leaderboard this week. And then at the tight end spot, we kind of knew once TJ Hawkinson and the overall Minnesota tight end position locked up that 19.9 points on Thursday night, that was very, very likely to be the highest scoring tight end. Although, across the board, pretty solid showing this week from the tight end position. 10 plus teams scoring 10 or more points, which is pretty good, especially in this format where you're not getting any points per receptions. So good amount of scoring coming from the tight end. And for the second straight week, we had one defense that kind of really separated themselves, and it was Pitt defense, and it didn't come into play until the second Monday Night Football game. But Pitt scores 2 defensive touchdowns, which is obviously huge in terms of scoring fantasy points, end up putting up 29 points. Yeah, so defense most certainly has mattered so far these first 2 weeks of the season, and not necessarily the easiest to predict which defense it's going to be that goes off in a given week, but certainly has proven to be a key to the game here in the Owners Club. Let's check out some other leaderboards. We got the low ball contest, another Gold Club member taking it down. Gold Club really showing up here in TOC. So cheers and shout out to the Gold Club members out there. Scoring 38.64 points. New England quarterback, Las Vegas running back, New England wide receiver. So you've got that stack there of New England quarterback with New England wide receiver. I think the same way that you get benefits to stacking a quarterback and a wide receiver in traditional fantasy in the main event, absolutely think it makes sense and maybe even more sense in some ways to stack up a quarterback and the wide receiver in low ball, because if a quarterback has a poor game, highly likely that their wide receiver core also had a poor game, especially again in this format where there's no PPR, really reliant on those touchdowns. So you want to kind of target teams that do not score a lot of touchdowns, or some weeks maybe don't even score any touchdowns, right? So I think in low ball, you can definitely even make an argument for full onslaughts, right? If you think one team is just going to get absolutely mopped one week, I would not be opposed to playing quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end all from the same team. Now, you could argue that maybe caps your upside because they got to do something. And, maybe in median outcomes, that is the case. But in a week where one team in particular puts up 3 points or 6 points total on the board, they're not going to score a lot of fantasy points. And especially in this format where touchdowns are accounting for a lot of the fantasy points that you're getting, definitely a strategy to continue keeping your eye on. Shout out to Bet the House, another top 5 finish here, and with quite a different lineup. So here you see Carl taking advantage of the wrinkle. Minnesota running back and Philadelphia tight end, both coming in under 4 points. So solid uses of the wrinkle there. New York Jets quarterback, what a roller coaster that card has been on. Goes from 2 years ago being a easy low ball play, one of the worst quarterback cards in the game. Coming into this season, Aaron Rodgers, you're thinking, okay, this is at least a middle of the road quarterback card, has upside to be one of the better quarterback cards. 4 plays in, Rodgers is done for the season, and now we're back to Zach Wilson, and we're back to the Jets quarterback card being probably the one that you want in low ball contests. Atlanta wide receiver, we've talked about that being a good low ball option all season long. And then Las Vegas defense there. So nice construction from Carl. Let's check out the side hustle and the Island of Misfit cards. And wow, we are now 3 for 3 on Gold Club members taking down first place in these contests. Profound Soda, Denver wide receiver, Buffalo running back, the Stone Cold Nuts. I think so. I think that is the Stone Cold. Oh, no. Okay. So Minnesota quarterback and Denver wide receiver is the actual nuts, but pretty close here. Getting Denver wide receiver at just 2%. Certainly a massive game there and a ton of leverage. Also coming in with a pretty reasonable serial at 538, but totally unique construction there. And, I think as you look through the side hustle and the Island of Misfit cards, these 2 card games, you either need to be playing something that has a low serial where you think that you will, like Andy did here. So shout out Andy Reid off a bye, coming in second place. And okay, yeah, so this makes sense here. So Andy stacks up Denver quarterback with the Denver wide receiver. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 people played that lineup. Andy's coming in with the number 64 wide receiver and the number 6 quarterback. So at just a serial of 70, can be pretty confident that you are going to win all of those tiebreakers. So if you are playing a quarterback wide receiver stack like this, I think you want to make sure that you have lower serials, or just be aware that you're going to put yourself in a situation where you can't possibly win first place. And I like getting first place whenever I try to play something. So I think you want to put yourself in a spot where you can realistically get first place. Andy did that here, but Profound Soda just barely edges him out with Buffalo running back outscoring the Denver quarterback. There we go. We got Sergeant Stogie with a top 10 finish. Locked in that Minnesota quarterback from the Thursday night wrinkle, leveraged a joker to do so. This must be joker ownership. That had to be joker ownership, right? I'm surprised there's not more Minnesota wide receiver or Minnesota quarterback. Okay. Yeah. I mean, but this is surprising, right? The Minnesota quarterback comes in at 1.51% in the side hustle. That is quite interesting to me. Yeah, I mean, it's not even in the top half of ownership. So what that means to me is that everyone that had Minnesota quarterback basically played them in the main event. So it's probably, so when you have a Thursday night wrinkle card that does that well and puts up that many points, and you feel like pretty good that they're going to be one of the top scores, if not the top score, it probably does make sense to play that card in the main event. However, I mean, just understanding the amount of leverage that can be gained, getting the number one quarterback, getting 37 points locked into your side hustle lineup, and only having 1.5% of other people doing that same thing gives you a good chance to, not only lock in a cash, but have that upside where if you do pick the correct second card to go along with it to get that top prize. So I think that's kind of a fun little game theory exercise there with the wrinkle going forward. Now we've got the Island of Misfit cards. Riquette 567 takes it down, uses a joker to do so. Joker tight end, putting in that Minnesota Thursday night wrinkle score and matching it up with the Pitt defense. That is what we call the nut lineup right there. And doing so with a 91 serial, you can see second place, which was 2 starter pack cards, the Minnesota tight end and the Pitt defense as well. Loses the tiebreaker, but still locks in that second place score. And we got Giant Hammer locking up a 7th place finish. New England tight end starter card to go along with that smash game from Pitt defense on Monday Night Football. Nicely done there. All right. Cheers. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Little coffee sip. And then the final TOC contest of the week. Of course, we've got the weekly OG contest where you can put those OG cards to work, and you can put those OG cards to work double time this week because, as I said at the top of the show, we are running the TOC OG card exchange. Take any 5 OG cards, exchange them in, and as a result, receive a buy one, get one free special offer. Purchase an additional TOC base pack, get a second one for free automatically. It'll arrive in your account like 2 minutes after you buy it. I saw earlier the marketplace was moving. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, since the announcement, definitely seeing some OG cards move on the marketplace. Able to scoop them up for less than $2 essentially. So going like looking at like a $15 floor on the OG cards. So yeah, if you have OG cards sitting in your account, trade 5 of them in. So you head on over to collection and then the exchange here. Really, really smooth, easy process. Simply select 5 OG cards from your collection. Hit the old exchange button. After you confirm the exchange, you can then head on over, make a base pack purchase for $99 or 990 gold. And again, a minute or two later, a second pack will drop on into your account for free. So great way to continue building your collection. And yeah. And even if you take advantage of it the first time around, you can do it again. You can do it again one more time here. So check out the OG card exchange. Anyways, the OG contest. So similar to what we saw in the main event, very heavy on the Thursday night wrinkle. You can see in this winning lineup, Minnesota quarterback, Philadelphia running back, Minnesota wide receiver. They paired that up with the Kansas City tight end and then used, wow, what a nicely used joker right there. Pitt defense, big Monday night game. So Matt Cameron coming from behind and getting that victory there. We got Ace John with 2 top 10 showings here. Ace John went with that 4-person Thursday night wrinkle stack, Minnesota quarterback, Philadelphia running back, used a joker for the Minnesota wide receiver, which was a nice play, Minnesota tight end, and then the Dallas defense, which I'll tell you what, Dallas defense might matter. They had obviously a massive, massive week 1 showing against the Giants, and then another strong game here. Granted, they're playing the Jets, but that Dallas defense does look very fast out there. Parsons is an absolute beast. And yeah, having that number 1 Dallas defense serial is a nice card there from Ace John. Let's see what Ace John did with their second lineup. So yeah, look at that. Oh yeah, they just played. So Ace John just played the same lineup twice. So just doubling down on that Dallas defense, playing that same lineup twice and bringing home 800 gold in the process. Joe Reds played that lineup as well. Yeah, so lots of OGs here playing that same Thursday night wrinkle plus Dallas defense stack. You can tell these guys have been around the block and know how to play the game. So there we have it with the TOC contest review. Again, the week 3 contests are now live in the lobby this week. We have a total of 80,000 gold up for grabs, 48,000 gold in the main event, 5,000 gold up top. Top 10, we flattened out the payout structure a little bit, so less of a percentage is going to first place. Flatten that out a bit. Don't worry, everyone. I see the comments in Discord. I see what people are talking about. We're always tinkering, evaluating. I've seen people argue, and I don't want to say arguing, but people commenting on the payout structures and giving their opinion, and it's good discussion. It's good discussion. We will continue evaluating all angles of this and make sure that we're mixing things up a little too. But yeah, payouts are there. 1,000 gold up top in each of the other contests. You can head on over otmnft.com/TOC/lobby and enter today. Alrighty. Let's do some Rumble, huh? Let's do some Rumble. All right. First off, again, head on over to the Rumble lobby now and you can enter the completely free contest. So We are creeping up on 1,000 entries now. If you have not yet already, head on over now. At least chuck in a placeholder lineup there. Lock down your spot for the week. But let's take a look at what went down in the Rumble Legends qualifier. Actually, let me share the Rumble payout structure again, just quickly, in case people have forgotten. All right, so shared this updated Rumble Legends payout structure last week. We now have over $38,000 in the prize pool, so 380,000 plus gold, and continuing to grow each and every week. Every week, the top 50 in the Rumble Legends qualifier secure a golden ticket. The top 10 in the Jolly Joker qualifier also secure a golden ticket. This golden ticket, remember, gets you two things. Number one, it gets you a 100 gold payout immediately that week into your account. So 100 gold into your account that you can immediately start to do whatever you want within the Own the Moment ecosystem, paid out every single week to 60 different players. And then it gets you that entry into the Rumble Legends playoff, that 3-week end of year tournament taking place week 15, 16, and 17. So can see again the payout structure here. The top 100 make it to the week 17 final. Once you've made it to the week 17 final, you've locked up a guaranteed 1,000 gold payout. So that is getting your money back on a single season pass purchase. And then you've got all that upside of the 50,000 gold, $5,000 top prize payout taking place at the end of the year. So, yeah, refresher here on the Rumble Legends payouts. And then also, if you have not seen, again, we have the new free weekly contest and $2,500 in prizes coming at you in week 3. Top 100 payout starting at $10 in Dapper Balance. First place, $250. Make sure you go ahead, enter that tournament. All right. Rumble Legends qualifier. Look at this. Ace John, 2 of the top 5 lineups. Ace John is just buzzing. Ace John is on fire this week. And I'll tell you what, yeah, that's that veteran gameplay taking place right there, because I think what Ace John has done is just leverage the wrinkle, knowing how important that is. Yeah, look at this lineup from Ace John here. Goes with Kirk Cousins, hero, locked in that high score from the Thursday night game, paired it up with the locked-in scores of Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson, ran it back with the locked-in scores from DeAndre Swift and Devonta Smith, and then rounded it out nicely with Christian McCaffrey, with Saquon Barkley, and with the Dallas Cowboys. And the number 1 serial on the Dallas Cowboys there too. So Ace John has the number 1 serial TOC Cowboys defense and has the number 1 serial of something that is eligible for the Cowboys DST Plus. Ace John's going to be eating off that defense all season long. And so looking at ownership percentages here too on the wrinkle players, you can see that all of them were certainly high owned. So Kirk Cousins not only coming in at just over 50% total ownership, but coming in as 39% on the hero. 39% on the hero, showing the importance there of that wrinkle. Jefferson and Hawkinson both coming in around 60%. Devonta Smith right around 50%. And then DeAndre Swift also at 60%. And yeah, I mean, look, chalky lineup here from Ace John, but gets the job done. Another thing that you'll see in Rumble compared to TOC is you're not going to see as many ties, right? When you're playing individual players, there's more roster spots. You're playing individual players. So we don't see as many train ties happening in Rumble as we do in, say, TOC. And like we said, top 50, so 194.15 cutoff for the golden ticket. LLC 45 takes that down. But don't worry, if you miss out on the top 50, 51 through 100, you'll receive a quarter 2 pass. So this will get you 4 weeks in a row. In weeks 5, 6, 7, and 8, you'll get an extra lineup into the contest every week. And then, 51 through 100, and then 101 through 200. So another 100 people get yourself a week 3 ticket, which then will just get you an extra entry into this coming week's contest. So you're always trying to lock up those golden tickets, which gets you your 100 gold and your entries into the playoff contest. However, still plenty of other ways to win and just kind of continue to stack up those tickets and entries over the course of the season. Let's take a look at the Jolly Joker qualifier as well. As a reminder of how this one works, you must first own a season pass in order to be eligible. And then once you do, you get 1 entry for every single Jolly Joker that you hold. And that is essentially just based on how many you hold at the time of the contest creation. So, we look up someone like Lib. I guess he only has one. In the money here, but people have lots of lineups essentially. And as we see here, the top 10 all get a golden ticket. USD Torios coming down with the first place finish. Rip 25, Hey Juke 3, Spartacus, Mike 2121, Vertigo, Beady Hoops, Hot Sauce, D Verdict, and Attentive Labra Doodle rounding out the top 10 and are the golden ticket winners from the Jolly Joker qualifier in Rumble Legends this week. Let's see what's going on in chat. I think that's it's mostly everything that I needed to cover from a contest review standpoint. Always like walking through these and just kind of seeing what's going on, picking out some little strategy tidbits that maybe I'm noticing or trends that I'm noticing week over week. Like we said, this week was one where the wrinkle was a big part of the strategy. Ooh, Jason says 43 packs until the next unlock. Yeah. Oh, I see even 42 now. So look at this. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. We are 42 pack purchases away from unlocking the next 200,000 gold. That will put the total prize pool to 2 million gold, equivalent to $200,000 paid out throughout the course of the season. So awesome to see that there. Probably will fly once payouts hit. Yeah, gold will be paid out soon. Any minute now. Within the next hour or two, I would say most likely you'll be getting those gold payouts. Fun guys asking, does it matter where you place in the top 50 throughout the weeks or just getting a golden ticket? Just the golden ticket. So in the Rumble game, it does not matter if you finish in first place or in 50th place. It's the same in terms of getting that golden ticket. Where it will matter is once we get to week 17 and that final tournament. So as you're stacking up golden tickets, you definitely want to be preparing in advance for that week 17 tournament. Another thing that we talked about in Discord is that in week 17 for the finals in both TOC and Rumble, there will be no wrinkle. And as part of that, we will be excluding any of the games that start prior to Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern time. So this is a difference for that week 17 final. Again, we don't want the wrinkle to kind of overtake the strategy of final week. So no wrinkle in week 17. Contest still locks Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Same time as always. You just cannot use the moments from the wrinkle from the Thursday or Saturday games. Jason says, all golden tickets created equal. Also, shout out to Jason for getting himself into the old gold club earlier today. 15 plus Jolly Jokers in the account. Welcome to the gold club. And look at that. You get an extra Rumble entry as a result. All right, everyone. That should do it for this evening. Make sure this evening. Yeah, not quite. This morning. If you have not yet, make sure you take advantage of that OG incentive deal. Turn in 5 TOC OG cards. Get yourself eligible for that buy one, get one free special on a new TOC base pack. We've got some fun updates that are going to continue to come throughout the season. And yeah, looking forward to it all. Free Rumble available in the lobby. I'll be back doing more of a Rumble focused breakdown on either Wednesday or Thursday this week. Probably Thursday. Um, probably Thursday. And that'll do it. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you next time. Peace.